Hi, this is Richard Murray with another session of Parking Lot Theology. I want to challenge you with a question today, and the question is this: how do you know that you know? There's a branch in philosophy called epistemology, and what that studies is the nature of knowledge. Not really whether what you know is right or not, but how do you know? How do you know that you know? And some people would tell you that you know because you observe it with your eye and you're able to rationalize it with your mind. Other people would tell you that, well, they know things emotionally. They know things because they have a feeling about something, and the feeling often proves to be true and accurate. And then other people will tell you that they kind of think from their gut, that they know from their gut. I know this is from my gut. I have an insight. I have an epiphany. I have an immediate apprehension of reality that's true, and it's unshakable. And then it ends up being true much of the time. So there are different forms of epistemology, and they really determine where we start and where we finish. I remember many years ago when I was studying the difference between the Hebrew mind and the Greek mind. I believe it was a book by Marvin Wilson called Our Father Abraham. It's an incredible book, but it really opened up my mind to think about the difference between the Hebrew and the Greek. And one of the differences is the way they define knowledge. The Greek would define knowledge, and this may be a little bit of an oversimplification, but in general terms, the Greek would define knowledge as the intellect, as the rational intellect. But whereas the Hebrew would define knowledge as experiential knowledge, that the Hebrew would say that all knowledge comes from relationship. To know somebody is to know somebody relationally. And one of the most important books I ever read was a book by Martin Buber called I and Thou. It just totally blew me away, because it basically showed me, in his thesis in it, that basically life is meeting, life is encounter, that everything we know must come through the encounter with another. For me to know something, I have to experience it. And you can even go back to things in the Bible like Adam knew Eve. Adam didn't know Eve up here. Adam knew Eve experientially. He experienced her. So the whole concept of knowledge in the Hebrew mind is different than the Greek mind. And one of the key differences is the Hebrew mind incorporates the gut and the heart. Many verses in the Bible in the Old Testament talk about the importance of the kidneys, that I will know the Lord in my kidneys, and in my reins, and in my deepest areas. And they actually believed that the core, that your spirit, that the core part of you, where God, the touch point between you and God, was deep in the middle of your person, where your kidneys, where your gastrointestinal tract was. And then Jesus comes in the New Testament, says, out of your belly will flow rivers of living water. And then a lot of times when Paul is using words in the Greek that have to do with the belly area, about being spiritually minded and things like that. It's all with a midriff. All right. Now I know that may blow your mind a little bit, but it helps us see that the Hebrew heart and the Hebrew mind incorporates knowledge that is experiential, is emotional, and also is intellectual. It doesn't do away with the intellect. And I think of it as a table. Sometimes the problem with scholarship and intellect is that it wants to have the only seat at the table, all right? But the Hebrews came in and allowed the three to sit at the table. It allowed the gut to sit at the table. It allowed the heart, the emotions to sit at the table, and it allowed the intellect to sit at the table. And really, if we look at it from a pure sense, we need to be led by our gut, up through our heart, and then out of our mind. All right, out through our mind, through those thoughts, and that's the proper order of things. But instead, we tend to be led up here and cut our existence up and just live from the neck up. And the sad part about that is that we'll never, if all we do is live up here, and the only way that I'm going to know something is if you prove it for me with mathematical certainty. Oh my gosh, don't think that way. You're never going to know the Lord thinking that way. Descartes famously said that. That if I can doubt it, I don't want to hear it. If I can doubt, that proves the only thing. It was called Cartesian doubt. I doubt, therefore I exist. He famously said, I think, therefore I am. But anyone will tell you that understands it, that what he's really saying is, I doubt. My ability to doubt proves that I exist. That ain't ever going to get you to God. All right. So what we're looking for is a relational knowledge of God that comes from the heart and from the gut. And to do that, we have to let the heart and the gut sit at our table, our counsel, our inner counsel. And actually, I believe the gut should sit at the head of the table. But even if you're not willing to go that far, at least let the two of them sit at your table, and then things will begin to change. I know that before I became a Christian, I never heard the voice of God. I tried Buddhism, I tried Judaism, I tried Hinduism, I tried New Age. I never heard the voice of God. All I heard was my own voice in disguise. But when I met Jesus, something radically changed. And goodness gracious, he promises us that his sheep will hear his voice. So the reason that I believe Jesus and the reason that I believe the Bible are not because anybody proved it to me with theorems of logic. All right. I believe it because in my heart and in my gut, I've interacted with the Lord about it, and he's confirmed that the Bible has great value for us. It has to be read carefully. It has to be read with what Martin Luther called the influx of the Spirit to illuminate it and to bring it into alignment with the nature of God. And it's the way that I know that God exists. You know, that's what the leap of faith is all about. This will never get you there. This can't leap. Okay, this can walk, but it can't leap. The heart and the gut is the part of you that leaps, and that's where we leap into God and we trust him. And then when we do that, we then we come into that Hebrew knowledge. We come into that experiential knowledge of God. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Bless you.